All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the new Jody Watkins Show. I almost said Breaking Barriers now because that's what I was used to, but we have rebranded and we are on the forefront of breaking some serious barriers now. We have an amazing guest today. Her name is Aliya. She has been on the show before, but just like everyone else in life, life is going to keep lifing and there's always more. So I always tell people like, hey, come back, update us, let us know how things are going. So she and I reconnected here pretty recently, and I'm grateful for that. And the enemy has tried to keep us from doing this. But the enemy can't win. So we are here. Aliya, thank you so much for taking the time out again. We were chatting before we started recording this, and you guys, this woman right here, my goodness, she has literally been thrown in the gauntlet, I don't know how many times, and, mentally and physically, and she is still here. So that is just a testimony to not only your faith, but your strength and the strength that you have through God and your faith and just being able to keep going even with all the hits. And but Aliya, come on here and tell us a little bit about, just go ahead and introduce yourself, reintroduce yourself, I should say, and because you're renewed, you are renewed, you look different, you seem, your energy is a little different. So we'll talk about that and how you got there because I can see it in you. um but let's just kind of recap a little bit, you guys. I don't want to talk too much, I want to let you do it, but let's just do like a quick kind of recap just for anybody that maybe didn't hear your show before, of kind of where you started and then kind of what's going on right now and how you're able to still shift that and still carry out your purpose through all the stuff that's coming at you.
Okay. I'm so glad to be back on the show. Thank you. Yay. For those of you that have never heard of me or seen me and wasn't sure who I was and where I came from, I am Aliya Fitz-El. I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I'm a post 9/11 veteran that joined the Marine Corps in August of 2001. I experienced a lot of racism. I've experienced a lot of hardship and as well as military sexual trauma. I felt that I was by myself, and later on in years, I found that I wasn't. But during that time, I was completely broken. When I came home, I was alone. Had no support. I didn't even know what was going on with me. I didn't even know what I had experienced. The only thing I knew, I experienced extreme hate, and I couldn't figure out the reason why. I didn't know it was because if it was the way I looked or who I was with and things like that. But either way, I experienced hate, and I actually survived. Uh, as I found later, a huge human rights violation. Um, and I suffered a tremendous trauma that was supposed to break me, but it didn't break me, because one thing the Marine Corps forgot is that they trained us very well, and they trained us is mind over matter. So
Mm.
the things that were in the background trying to destroy me, I was kicking those doors back in. Now, since the show, first of all, thank you, Jody, for allowing me to use your platform to tell my story, because I was silent for so long. And when me and you connected so long ago, you know, I had to really pray over it if I was going to actually speak about it,
Hmm.
because it comes from a place of hurt and
Right.
pain.
Right.
And I was like, you know what? When I did that, that actually like liberated me.
Hmm.
It made me have a voice again, and it was like I could breathe again, because
Wow.
every time I told my story after that, it got a little easier, and
Yes.
I found out that
That's what
I
I tell people.
wasn't the
I'm so
one.
glad you said that.
Yes.
I'm gonna let you continue, but I wanna kind of pause right there for a second for anybody
Hmm.
that's listening. Our stories matter, you guys. And that's one of the things that I'm grateful for. Matthew Curran, he's a retired Marine veteran as well, but he has been my main mentor and he actually helped me. He's continuing to help me tell my story. And the more I've told it, just like you said, the more I get to heal through it, right? And that's the thing that we have to understand is like, I was on a program yesterday and he was saying our we are the experts of our story. And what I've learned is our stories can relate to other people in ways we never imagined, but we have to be willing to share them. And it's uncomfortable and it's scary and it's all the things, right? But look at you. Like you have literally, I mean, I can just see the transformation in you just here. And we're not even in person, but it's just I can see, I mean, you're just more lit up, like you look freer, mentally
Yeah.
freer. So that's a
Yeah.
testimony. So I just wanted to stop right there and pause real quick and just make sure the listeners heard that part where when we tell our stories, we're healing through our stories as well. It doesn't mean we're healed. It doesn't mean they're magically going to go away and the trauma is going to go away. But I think for some of us, when we know that we're helping other people and our stories are helping other people, it gives us life. Do you
Yes.
agree? Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
So you found
um,
that. Oh, that's awesome. I
yeah,
got chills. Oof.
yeah. Your platform like it ignited something when I told my story, and then I had to pray even harder. And I'm like, okay, now that I've told my story, what am I going to do about all of the things that happened to me?
Mm,
So, first of all, I was like, I need to see my records, what they have. So, I sent off for them. I had to get congressional help from Ben Klein in Virginia. And I know they got sick of me because I was on them. I mean, I was on them like, did you get something back? And that made them push even
right.
further because the Marine Corps, for some reason, they like to hide things and they kept saying that they can't find my records.
Yeah.
And so finally, after 22 years, I was able to get a hold of my records. I
Oh
tried
my
before
gosh.
with Virgil Good of Virginia, and he could never get them. The Marine Corps could never find them. And, I left it alone after that. But I
Mm,
got my records. Um, During that time, I was scared to death. And I talked to my mom, and she was like, I didn't raise you to be scared. God is always with you. So if nobody has you, I have you, and God got
oh,
you.
that's
So I
awesome.
was like, you know what? I had to suck up all my fears. I had to suck everything up through a straw. And I was like, you know what? It will never be reversed if I don't tell my story,
Yeah.
my side of the story.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and I did, I can't remember if I did a restricted or unrestricted report right now, but I did a report and I was able to get some services through Cherry Point, the victim's advocate, which I was able to get legal services
Hmm.
and file that claim. During
Okay.
that time, there were a few Marines that were still in. Uh-huh. Oh, this about to be good, y'all. Okay, so y'all better buckle up.
Make sure y'all go watch the other one too after this.
I'm
Go
telling
listen to
you,
that
I'm
one.
telling you. So the Marine Corps, I did an Inspector General uh inquiry. Oh, they were like pretty much, oh, that's not really our problem because those Marines aren't in, they're not here, and this, that, and the other, which I only expected that because they were just trying to all cover themselves.
Oh my goodness.
And they're in leadership, not even trying to look into anything. So pretty much, oh, that's your fault. So you deal with it.
Mm,
Um, did the unrestricted report. Okay, so there was one that was a master sergeant, and then there was one that was a staff sergeant still in.
hmm.
There was one that was a warrant officer. Um, I think they forced them, they let them retire. They got their full pensions, they got their educational benefits. Oh, they got everything while they took everything away from me. But God watch it all, y'all. Oh, we see it all. I know you're not living a good life right now. You might think you are. But anywho, they it took them NCIS. So let me get on now. Okay. So it took probably about a month after I filed that report
Hmm.
before NCIS reached out to me, and they were thinking that I was in Jacksonville, and then they were thinking I was in I don't know what. I don't know. They were really special about it. I don't know who are training them, but they need to do a little better. If you're investigating an investigator and you can't do your job, it was a little horrendous. So then they was like, well, that's because they were trying to force me to come on that base. And I'm like, I'm not coming on that base. I don't trust anybody on that base. So I was like, you come where I want you to come. And
Mm,
so I arranged to do an interview at Roanoke City Police Department. Yeah,
okay.
I did it on my turf where I feel comfortable in my home areas where I know I have love, support, and
What
safety.
did you think was gonna happen if you went to the base?
I
Like,
thought they might have
what was the
probably tried to
potential?
detainment. Like you
Really?
should have seen what they did when I was there. They literally held me against my will, and I'm active duty
Really?
Marine.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, yeah, because my
Wow.
name is Aliya. I didn't know all of that stuff was about because they hated different people. Whatever was going on during 9/11 ain't had nothing to do with me. But I figured it probably was my name because between my name and me being a woman and being a brown woman, they didn't see many of us there at that time,
Mm,
you know. But throughout the whole thing, I just felt like I knew they weren't going to do anything. They didn't. It took them a while to, the one that was still in, they were like, well, we have to go through his lawyer and see if he's going to come and talk and this, that, and other. Oh, he has a choice in the matter. I didn't have any choice. They didn't
wow.
detain him or anything. They treated him with respect, honey. And you a whole pedophile.
Mm,
So they gave him a choice, and then I guess his lawyers allowed him to talk, and he told them whatever narrative that he gave them, and pretty much said that we were together and we were like in a relationship. I'm like, no, I didn't even know this dude.
mm,
I was married to somebody else. I don't know him like that.
right.
He just he was a harasser along with everybody else. And I later realized all of the things that happened. My dad, like I said, my dad is a Marine. So while I was auditing, something told me to audit my files, to actually go through them now that I'm an adult, because I didn't know
Mhm,
what to look for. I was young then. So
mhm.
I did that for like 3 months. I barely ate, slept, like the kids was bringing me food and running me showers, like, get out of the office. I'm
Oh,
like, no,
wow.
I can't. Because every page was a page turner, because they were correcting things, they were changing things in the system, and their names are all over it.
Wow.
Yeah, nothing but fraud, 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 fraud. So that is the reason why a lot of the things that I experienced when I came home was because they changed my records. They are in charge of every Marine's records on that base because that was the CAC. That was my job.
Right.
So not only did they mess with my records, okay, during their investigation, I learned too that Cherry Point still has a nasty little issue going on. The attorney that was representing me had like 42 other cases other than mine. So when I did that interview, he wasn't even present at the interview. Like, I still never can get legal representation because I already know why. I know why, but I'll get them appointed, but they never show up.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I don't even want to get down to that. I know exactly why.
Let's
So
talk
I still never
about
had an
before.
effective legal counsel.
My goodness. There's so
And
much.
no
There's
other
so much to
attorney
pack. I'm
would
like,
take no other attorney no girl, no other attorney would take it because nobody has the balls. Because if you don't have them, then this is not for you. And if you're going to be soft around me, then I don't need you.
yeah, yeah.
Excuse my French.
I don't think that's French.
Okay, well,
What are let's talk about, okay, in just within, like, I would say the last year, year and a half. What are a couple of the lessons that you've learned through all this? And also, I mean, we know that your faith in God is strong, but like there's people out there that quit that fight and they would have quit a long time ago. So I want to I want to kind of talk about like what is keeping you going? What is the mission and what is keeping you going?
okay. So the biggest lesson I learned is open your mouth. If someone harms you, hurts you, or anything, open your mouth.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, whether it hurts you or it it's gonna hurt, and bringing it up is gonna hurt, but it
Right.
feels so much better once you release it. It's still there, but still get the help that you need. Like,
Yeah,
so
that's good.
if you need to talk to people, you got to stay healthy, and
Yeah.
you got to focus on your health. If you have any injuries from anything, go ahead and start getting that taken care of.
Right.
Um, so if you need to be in the VA system and you never were because you were afraid, go and just walk in.
Right.
Like, hey, I need some help. This is what's
Right.
going on. And the things that's keeping me going is my family and all of the communities and all of the veterans that suffered like I did.
Mm.
Everyone that has that same story that I did, and it's a lot of us that have a lot similar stories, and they are scared to speak up.
Yeah.
They're still trying to deal with it internally, and it actually broke a lot of them, and a lot of them are still hurting. you
Yeah.
know so I'm like, I have to be the strong one for them. I didn't ordain my voice and the way I am and how stern I am, but I said one day the motto of the rest of my life is stop playing with me. And
Mm.
that's what everybody's going to stop doing, because the truth is going to come out. So
Mm.
keep going.
Yeah.
Don't let nothing stop you.
Yeah. That's so true. And I mean, it's, being a woman veteran, we do go through some things that a lot of people don't know about, right? And that, so I can definitely attest to the fact that, yeah, you should speak up. Um, but I think as females, sometimes we have that shame and that guilt and, some of those things. And so that's what keeps us. But I can also attest to the fact that when you don't say anything, it will come back later because that trauma exists. And when
Yeah.
that trauma exists, it will affect you mentally at some point. And
Yeah.
so we do have to talk about it, and maybe even if you're not ready to go talk about it publicly like we are right now, if there's somebody out there right now that's listening to this, I do encourage you to at least go seek therapy, get some help somewhere, talk to somebody, get a coach, something. Because
Yeah.
you have to have an outlet. These things have a tendency to take us down if we allow them to. And so, I mean, it speaks volumes of, the type of person that you are. And that's awesome that you have that support. And yes, when we talk about our stories, we find out there's other people. Cause I think sometimes we kind of get into this, and it's in our heads, but it's like, oh, I don't want to talk about myself because nobody's gonna understand, or nobody else is going through this, right? And in all reality, what we end up finding out is when we do talk about it, there are many other people that are going through that can relate, so that's awesome. Yeah, I always have this thing where I say I want to be the voice for the voiceless, and I believe you're doing the same thing. You're being the voice for those women who are not ready, and men. I mean, because it happens to men too now,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. I'm
for those
fighting for them
people,
men.
yeah, for
They're the
those
most
people,
silent.
yes, yes. So for anybody out there listening, definitely encourage you to seek some help and just know that your purpose is bigger than your fears.
Yeah.
And because
I
sometimes
took
we
I took
let
my
fear,
pain. I took my pain
yeah,
and made it my purpose.
yes, and that's what we have to do. That's what we have to do. And so I definitely want to applaud you for continuing that. And you're still in the fight, right? You haven't,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
hasn't subsided
No.
yet. Do you feel like
No,
it's
it's just
helped that you've gone public? Do you feel like that's helped the fight a little bit?
it's helped. I had been trying to pierce the veil outside of here, and I'm international now. I'm global. I got people all over the globe following me.
Wow.
And I started another platform on Instagram, because after I told my story, the guide of my platoon from the Marine Corps that went to boot camp with me, all of the girls that had no idea that I experienced that. They said, you were the one of the greatest Marines that I ever trained with. I was a series guide on for our series, and it was like, you were a squad leader. All you did was help. So I can't believe this was my outcome, but this is your fate. So
Mm,
she said, I want you to create a new Instagram and show us what you're going through. so we can support you. And I did
Yeah.
it organically. I didn't tell people from my Facebook to, hey, follow me. No, I started just posting things and people just started following. So I have like
Nice.
congressmen and senators. I have people from all walks of life following
What's
me.
that Instagram so everybody knows?
Lance Corporal Fit underscore, hold on, Lance Corporal underscore Fitz underscore Vasquez. Yeah, so
All right, so
we'll have to
everybody go
post that
follow
up.
that. Yeah, I'll definitely post that when the podcast airs, but everybody go follow her as you hear that too. Um yeah, we have to share our stories. So,
You brought a
oh my
lot of good
gosh.
people in my life. You brought a lot of good people because
Really?
right after that, that's when I got linked up with Tom and
Okay.
Matt from Convene
Yes.
and
Tom
started
knows
doing
a lot. That man
podcasts
right there, he is very connected. That's
and started doing podcasts and stuff like that.
yes.
So the more Richard Kaufman, the more I started
Yeah,
telling my
okay.
stories,
I've been on
yeah,
his
those
too.
people
That's
have
awesome.
platforms. And see, it's
Yes.
time to go back on his too. So,
Yep.
and
Yep.
I had to actually take a step back because I did get overwhelmed a little bit because I
Yeah.
wanted to focus on my health and focus on some of my service connected injuries
Right.
from that time because I was pretty much neglected. So I went in there and um, I went to the women's clinic and my primary care, she just looked at my records and just from my records from boot camp and throughout my service, she said, yeah, I see nothing but markers in your stuff, markers for MST. And they should have, if you were going to discharge you, they should have did it medically. And I should have had compensation from day one. I should have never experienced any of it. And when I did,
Right.
all of those that were a part of it, because they had many, many minions, they all should have held accountable.
Yeah. Yeah.
But of course they're not. But I'm glad I'm still in it, and it's going to take a while because everybody just sitting on their hands right now. I'm at congressional inquiry level. So we'll see what this congressman do right now. They seem like they're kind of dragging their feet too. So I guess I'm gonna have to start sending stuff to the president because I'm going up the chain of command. I'll leave it with you for a minute, but when the moment I see that you kind of incompetent or you're taking your time, we the American people are tired of it. So do your jobs. So
Yes.
at this point, by the end of this week, if I don't hear any type of, okay, this is where we're at, I don't care if I sit and testify in front of Congress, something need to be done.
Yeah.
I'm not scared, I'm ready because my story need to be heard and something needs to be done. So
Yes.
I'll be sending letters and notices up the chain of command to the Commandant of the Marine Corps because somebody gonna be held responsible. My family want answers. My hometown want answers. Every place that my feet touch and all the people that love me that's going to hear this and the people on my Facebook that love me, they want answers and they want accountability, and we're not going to stop until we get it. Just to let you know. Sorry, but
I
girl,
fully believe that. That had some passion behind it, you guys. If you're
they
only
got
listening on the
me messed
audio,
up.
make sure you go get the video because you have to see the passion behind that real quick.
Because they've been playing with me. They've been playing with me. They've been playing with my housing. They've been playing with my finances, freezing my assets, taking my assets. Roanoke City, Virginia, all of them crooked judges and Commonwealth attorneys and sheriff deputies. Yeah, all of them. All of y'all have violated your oath of office and need to leave effective immediately. Like when I say the things that they did to me and my family in the background, I wish my family could be sitting around doing this interview with me because they would tell you the stuff that they've experienced in their schools, in our communities, and it needs to stop.
Yeah.
It needs to stop. Wow. It's like, am I being so disrespected? Like, I'm just trying to live, but they're playing with me. And the motto of the rest of my life is stop playing with me.
Yeah.
Because we're not taking it. We're not going to have it.
Yeah. I asked you this earlier. I want to make sure I ask you again. Do you regret stepping out and going public?
No.
No.
Nope. Because I stepped out on God. God told me to do it.
Yeah.
And I do what he tell me to do.
Well, and here's the thing, nothing can change if you kept quiet, right? Like nothing changes if we stay silent. nothing
No,
changes. We just
I would have
end
been,
up
I
getting
probably
worse.
wouldn't be here. I
I
probably
mean,
wouldn't be
that's what
here. I would have
happens.
gave up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happens. And so that's
And
why I'm really trying to kind of hit that in a little bit, because for anybody out there listening, keep fighting, keep fighting, keep fighting.
when they
Because
tell you no, that means you getting closer. So they're trying to hide something. So keep on
yeah,
kicking doors down. Don't let
yeah,
nobody tell you no.
yeah,
You tell me no. Oh, where your supervisor at? No, because the lower levels are dumb. Excuse my language, but they are. You need to go to the top people because they know a little bit more. Because
right,
the lower levels, they just do what they're told and they read off of a actual manual. You can
right.
find any manual of any company out here that is on the SEC. If they're registered, then you can find their manuals out there because everything has to be public information. So if you
Mm,
just look a little hard and you dig and research, oh, you'll find everything. Oh, and then you can call them out on everything because they'll be like, oh, well, we're not supposed to do that. Company policy does not supersede federal policy. And there are federal laws and international laws that protect us.
wow.
And everybody is breaking them right now.
Yeah,
So I want answers
yeah.
and I need
Oof.
remedy because you're going to stop playing with me and my family.
So what could happen right now to help you? Besides, I mean, we've talked about a lot of things, but like, what is one small thing? So if anybody's out there listening and they have a connection or they have some way to help you, what would be something that they could do to help you right now?
Right now, I want to be somewhere where I can be safe because I'm constantly under attack in my own country. This
Mm,
is where my whole family has been forever, you know. So I would like to leave because I'm constantly under attack. And that's a human rights violation. And no
mm.
one should have to live like that. No one should have to live under threat, harassment, duress. No one should have to suffer that.
So
So I
they
have
are they
every
coming to
right.
like your house? You said something about they're coming to the schools. Like they're like, who are these people and who like what are they doing?
You got monitors. You got monitors. Everybody got a monitor. Okay. So you got like I swear I wish my kids was in here because they could tell the creepy things that they've seen. So
Mm,
right after that, we had this house across the street from us. We had this beautiful house in Virginia. And
mhm.
all of a sudden the people moved out. They moved up out of nowhere. And then a new family moved in. Guess who the family was?
Who?
It was a Marine that was still active duty, came out of nowhere. And then one day he knocked on my door because he seen my flag flying. Who's the Marine that lived here? And then I introduced myself. Hey, how you doing? Looking at him a little sideways. And man, my kid's like, he just came out of nowhere, right? So we're sitting up there trying to think in that area, there's only recruiters in that area because there's no bases
Okay.
unless you go up the mountain, like way up the mountain. So in that area, unless you're a recruiter for one of the local high schools or something like that, then you wouldn't be in that area, especially a Marine. Come on now. So every day we watch this man. We don't ever see him in no uniform. We don't ever see him like leave like he going to recruiting duty or nothing. So we like, oh, right. So every time we are on the computer or every time I'm on the computer doing a live or a podcast or something, it was static interference. I think he was sent there to like kind of watch me because weird stuff started
Mm,
happening. Like we started finding like tents and stuff with there in our yard. There was a lot next to us that was like wooded.
mm.
And my son would go over there and take the dog for a walk and he would come back and he started finding like cami gear, like camo gear and like different stuff that was not there before. Like somebody got up real quick and left. But yeah, we started experiencing a lot of like
That's
weird stuff
interesting.
in Roanoke area. So and then when we were trying to leave that area after my kids, with the kids, whew, the kids were fine, but there were some things going on in their school that I don't even want to speak on right now.
Okay.
But because I'm still about to deal with them. Yeah, about to deal with them too.
Y'all better watch
Just because
out.
I left don't mean I forgot. I'm telling you, because God is on the move and He mad.
You are a force to
So
be
I'm
reckoned
just His
with. My
messenger.
goodness.
I'm just His messenger. I just do what He tell me to do, and He mad because of the way things are. It's not supposed to be like this,
Yeah.
you know. But as far as everything else, where was I at? That's my squirrel brain.
Well, and this I mean, really, I was just kind of curious because, that I think that's what stops people from speaking out sometimes because, a lot of people don't want to get their families involved, don't want to get, have those kind of things happen. Um, but I think for
My
you, it
family
was
got
like,
involved.
okay, because I'm
They
guessing,
they
I'm
they were hurt.
assuming, and
They were hurt.
I don't like to assume, but I'm guessing there was a conversation that happened, right? Before you decided to go public and things like that. Like, hey, are you guys on? No?
The only person I talked to was my mom,
Okay.
and I talked to God. That was it. And then
Yeah.
afterwards, when my family heard the story, they were so upset. They were so hurt. They blamed themselves because
So they didn't know. Nobody knew. Okay.
my dad was so hurt because he's a
Oh,
Marine.
yeah.
He was hurt, but
Wow.
he made me realize when we were going through my records that some of the things that they did to me were forms of torture. And yeah,
Girl.
so they tortured their own Marine, held me hostage, pretty much, held me against my will.
Wow.
Had no rights, no human rights, had no voice. Yeah.
But you do
Had
now.
property, yeah, I had property stolen from me. They were taking my money.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's bad. It
Yeah.
is bad. But
Well,
keep going.
I want you and anybody out there who's fighting a battle, right? I think sometimes we're all in a battle and it seems like never ending, right? And we have different levels of battles. And so I always tell people like don't try to compare your battle to the next person. A battle is a battle, right? But I
Yeah,
just want to encourage anyone out there if you're going through a battle, the biggest thing is don't give up. That's one thing that I can say about you since I've known you and I think we talked for a little while before you did finally decide to come on and share your story. And
yeah,
and I just since then like I've seen your growth and I've seen, some of the things you're doing and I do also want to point out taking a step back because you mentioned that earlier and I've done the same. I had to do the same thing, which is why this podcast quit running for a little while, right? Like we have to be willing to sometimes be like, okay, I have to take care of my own sanity.
yeah,
and that sometimes requires sacrifice from being in front of everybody, right? And so I
yeah,
want to applaud you for also doing that because I think out of that is where now you have this renewed kind of energy where you're just like,
yeah,
okay, game on, right? And I think that's what happens where it's like sometimes we have to go through the stuff and we have to take the step back and we have to kind of, reevaluate and kind of just be still, like the word says, be still and be still and know that I am God, right? Like we
yeah,
have to listen to
pretty
that
much.
sometimes because I think sometimes we get so focused on the doing, right? Like
Yeah,
the deeds and doing and doing and doing. But yes, there are deeds that have to be done. There's a fight that has to be fought, but it can't be at the mercy of we're about to completely lose our minds, right? Like
yeah,
so sometimes we have to be open to just taking that step back. So I want to applaud you for that. And anybody out there who, because we send ourselves into overwhelm. We really do that
yeah,
to ourselves a lot of times because we're trying to like do all the things, show up for everybody, and then we're not showing up for ourselves. And we're trying to make sure everybody else is taken care of, still fight the battles that we're in. And that can get very exhausting, and lead to
yes,
overwhelm. So definitely, if anybody's out there listening, if you are feeling exhausted, you need to take a step back doing something. I don't know what you got going on, but if you can take something off your plate, do that for a little bit. Do that because we need you. We need you. Aliya, we need you. I know, people tell me they need me. So we have to be open to taking that step back because there's a lot of us in this world who are purposed for a whole lot more than we even realize. and and unless
yes,
we take those steps back, sometimes we're not going to be able to get to that purpose because we're going to be so caught up in the everyday just doing and doing and doing. And we're going to get exhausted.
yeah.
So,
And
um,
yeah, and so you gotta sometimes you gotta just take a step back and and be silent, and
Mhm.
God will let you know the next step. Because sometimes when you want to move and move on something next, it ain't the time. So you got to take a
Right.
step back and chill out.
Yeah. Yeah. Even when you don't want to, right? Like, you're like,
Yeah,
"No, I don't wanna do that, but that's not in my plan," and that's usually the conversation I end up having, but Lord, that's not in my plan. And
exactly.
he's like, "I
Exactly.
know." Right? Like, he's like, "Oh, I know. I know it's not in your plan." Like, good thing I got the
Because if
plan.
not, he'll stop you altogether.
And
He'll
that's
stop you together if you're
yeah,
not listening.
yeah, and that's definitely happened to me too. So, um, I hate to have to get off here, but we're gonna have to start wrapping this up. But I just want to talk, if there's any, this whole podcast should have encouraged somebody out there. And I know it's gonna hit whoever it needs to hit. I believe for that. But if there's any other words of encouragement that you could share for somebody who's going through a battle and they don't see any way out, what would that be?
If you're feeling like you can't even breathe and move, talk to somebody. But don't just talk to anybody. Find somebody that resonate with you and somebody that don't judge, and someone that can actually you know, just listen. And then you never know what kind of doors that those people can open up for you.
Right.
Sometimes you just have to be honest and tell the truth,
Yeah.
and don't give up. And every time that you keep getting left hooked and right hooked and uppercutted, just know you getting closer to your purpose. The closer you get into
Yes.
that purpose, honey, everything in the world is going to be attacking you.
Yes. Oh
I
my
have been
goodness. We could
under
do a
attack
whole
for
whew,
years.
we could do a whole, I think probably speaking event. I got a few people that could speak on that. We could do a whole event on
Yes.
that, just on that alone. Because
I'm
that
ready
right
to get to
there,
Norfolk.
that
My mom
that
is a
right
pastor in
there,
Norfolk,
yeah,
and I
that
need to
right
be at
there
her
is that's
church.
the truth. That is the truth. And it happens to all of us. And so never, anybody out there, never feel like you're alone. You're not alone. There's a lot of us walking a journey. And like I said, it all, it can look a little bit differently, but it's the same journey as far as like when we are getting closer to what we are purpose and what our calling is in life, we are gonna take on some attacks that we aren't gonna think we can get through. But
Yeah,
you got 2 testimonies right in front of you right here,
yeah,
and we are getting
right.
through it, and it's not over. It doesn't mean the battle's over, right? Life, I have some friends and we always talk about life is gonna life, right? It's just gonna keep
Period.
lifing. So it's
Hmm.
not that we get over it. There's always gonna be something else. But what I think happens, and maybe you can speak on this too, but I think we just get better. We just get
Yeah.
better.
I got more powerful. I started learning I had some internal powers that God bestowed upon me. And when I found out that it worked, it happened by an accident. And I said, what? Let me find out. So ever since then, I just been stepping into my power. And I thank my mom for giving me such a strong name, Most High Exalted One. And I
Nice.
know who my creator is, and I know my power and what my mission is and who I work
Yes.
for. So everything's just going to get better, and just start leading with love with everyone, because everybody's going through their own internal battles. So instead of being angry when someone lashes out on you at you, it's not about you, it's about something they're going through internally, and just love on that person. That was the best thing that ever happened to me. I had people in my life that speak love into my life, and find your own some type of happiness, whatever
Yeah.
type of happiness. Don't sit and be sad. Whatever makes you happy, you need to find that. And we're supposed to be happy, we're supposed to be free, we're supposed to
Right.
be worry free, and we're supposed to be loving on each other and just building.
Yeah. Yeah. So good. So good. We could definitely end on that note. That's really good. I appreciate you so much for coming
Girl, you
on
need to get
here.
me
And
down there to your area. I need to be down
I
there speaking
mean,
with
we
y'all.
are
I'm
here.
telling
We are
girl.
here. You are always welcome. Um, but yeah, definitely we're gonna link up where I can see some great things in the future. Who knows? I don't try to figure that out anymore. I learned that a long time ago. Don't try to figure out the plan. Just go with it.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that can be
we're
difficult
we're
too. I always
forever
tell people,
connected.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I always tell people I'm a recovering people pleaser and a recovering, I need to have it all figured out first. And yeah, none of that works out very well. So make sure you set your boundaries and
Yeah,
also just let yourself be led sometimes, and it's uncomfortable and it's
yeah,
scary and it's unknown and that can be very difficult for a lot of us.
yeah,
But at the end of the day, I think, both of us can kind of attest to the fact that doing that leads us to where we're meant to be.
yeah.
Yeah.
Stay strong. Love
Stay
on
strong.
yourself and love on others.
Yes, yes. And get surrounded by the right people, you guys. Look, I always say my people are your people. If you don't have a tribe, contact one of us. We will get you around some good people, but then be open to being around them because I think sometimes what happens too is we're so hurt from a lot of people that we don't believe that there are good people out there.
Yeah,
And I have been blessed enough to come in contact with a lot of people who are good, and I'm sure you have too through this journey. And so,
yeah,
if you're out there, if you're
yeah,
listening to this, if you're watching us, reach out. We'll have our contact information. Reach out if you are just, suffering in silence and feel like you don't have anybody you can turn to. You've got a couple people right here, and we will.
yeah,
I've had a pastor a long time ago told me I was a conduit. And so one of the things that I love
yeah,
to do is connect other people. That I think that's my gift in life. Is like I just love to
yeah.
connect other people. And so, if you come to me and you have an issue, maybe I can't help you, but I can connect you to somebody who I feel like, can help you and they're trustworthy people. But make sure you have a good circle
And I'm
around you.
ready. Yeah. I'm ready
Yeah.
to like expand. I'm ready to like, I want to travel to other countries, and there's so many people that need somebody like me, and it
Yes.
was confirmed yesterday during the service. Like that service had everything, and I was like, oh my gosh, he's talking to me. So I
Confirmation.
sent it to I sent it to my mom, and my mom was like, yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. So she can't do it right now, so I'll be the person to do it for her.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, hey, we get sent into places that we're meant to be sent into.
I'm
So
ready. I've done what I could for America, so right now everybody else need to get a piece and get some love.
yeah,
I'm ready to
yeah.
spread love
Yeah,
and
that piece
healing.
is very important too. I think I talk about this a lot, but when we've lived, and depending on what your upbringing is, my life was always chaotic, always chaotic. There was never any peace, and so I am in a season
Busy.
right now where I'm just like, peace. I need peace, right? And so I
I
think
had
we do get to that place.
I had to go off the grid to get peace.
Yes.
Literally, I had to go off the grid.
Well, that's okay. I still say I'm gonna have to have a private island somewhere where I can land a
Yeah,
helicopter or something.
yeah. Just
I
make
still
sure
don't
you
have
got a little
complete
spot
peace.
for me.
I know. We're probably gonna have a little community where all of us who are like we're
Yeah,
peaceful
let's
being
do it.
people, and then we'll
Let's
just
do
come
it. And
together when we can.
hey, there's plenty of land out here, so we all
There
can
is.
come
Oh,
together.
I am
Seriously, if we all
learning.
put our resources together, let's do
Indeed,
it.
indeed.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
Well, girl, this has been an amazing podcast with you. Another amazing podcast. You guys, if you did not listen to the first one, make sure you go back because you're going to be able to see the growth and just how this woman has prevailed through so much. You can find the other podcast. It is under Breaking Barriers now, but if you go to the website, it's listed on the same thing. All I did was change the name. I didn't change the platform. So just make sure you continue to follow her, go to her Instagram, go follow her on social media. You'll have all those links, and just definitely keep her encouraged, keep her in prayer if you're a prayer person. Um, and let's just all come together in community and help each other out because that's what we're born to do.
Oh yeah.
So thanks again. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode. Is now called the Jody Watkins Show, so everybody can find it. I don't want to hear any excuses. You have my name. Go for it. So,
Yeah.
have a great day, everybody. Thanks again, Aliya, for your time. And
You're welcome.
I can't wait to see where everything goes.
Right. Thank you for having me. And I just want to tell everyone I love them, and everyone, thank you for everybody that ever supported me and is going to continue to support me and my new supporters.
Yes.
And thank you, Jody, for making a difference in my life. You just don't even know.
Oh, you make me cry.
Girl, I'm already.
Well,
I
there's
love you
more
so
in store.
much.
I feel like this is just the beginning, so we'll see where everything goes.
This just part one. This just
Yeah.
part one. I'm
All
gonna be a
right, you
regular
guys.
on here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. I could see many conversations of who knows, who knows. All right. You guys,
Yes.
thank you again for tuning in. Keep watching, keep tuning in. Make sure you share, like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jody Watkins Inspires. Make sure you follow Aliya everywhere she goes, that she lets you follow her. And,
Yes.
and let's keep going, you guys. Thanks again. Have a great day.